Advisors, stop selling the menu unless you can deliver the meal. Many wealth firms hand clients a menu of services that looks like it has everything. Investments, estate trust, charitable and business planning. It makes the firm look competitive, like a one-stop shop where clients never need to look anywhere else. But here's the truth. Those menus aren't just built for you and the client. They're built to attract new clients and keep people in the firm and funnel business back to the other core revenue centers. And so you may be asking yourself, what's wrong with this? Well, unless there's infrastructure and the ability to deliver on it, it's just another list. And the bigger problem is when you're the one selling it, you're the one left defending it. Welcome to the channel. If you're a wealth advisor, leader, or business owner who's tired of the noise and ready to build something that actually lasts, this is for you. These videos aren't theory. They're built from real execution, real leadership, and real results. Pulled from my 23 years as a nationally ranked top advisor, leader, and executive, leading multi-billion-dollar wealth management businesses and teams. So what are you going to learn from this conversation today? 1, why the firm's menu trap creates hidden risk for you and your clients. 2, how to shift from surface level advice to a structure that actually delivers. 3, why building this approach expands your career skills and accelerates your career progression. And 4, how that progression translates into clients' trust, loyalty, and their long-term retention with you. So here's the real problem. Firms advertise full service wealth, but behind the menu, the infrastructure isn't usually there. Most of it is at the surface level. Clients hear just enough to spark interest, but then they get redirected elsewhere for the execution. On paper, it seems like range, but in practice, it's just another sales funnel. And here's where it lands on you. You inherit that menu. It's on the company website. It's in your client pitch book. It's baked in how the firm positions itself. So you use it. You also point to it as proof you can actually deliver depth. But the moment you do, you're tied yourself to a promise you can't fully deliver. And what the problem is? Again, the infrastructure isn't fully there. For some, it exists, but only at the surface level, not nearly deep enough to solve the client's real complexity. For other firms, it doesn't even exist at all. And now you, the advisor, is left defending an expectation the firm set, but never equipped you to meet. So what happens next? You start working around it. You manage to get through your conversations with the client. You touch on estate, trust, charitable giving, just enough to acknowledge it, but never taking it deeper. You still unsure how to frame the right questions or when to bring in the right resources, if you even have them. And before long, you default to the one thing you can control, investments. That's your familiar ground, the safe advice, the same pitch every other advisor leans on. And that's what I call your familiar trap. It's not bad advice. It's not even wrong advice. It's just safe advice that is recycled, repeated, and is so familiar. It's the same pitch the client already has heard before. Then you take it one more step, like you're reading from a script. All the great funds, the managers, the performance talk, it's your comfort zone, I get it. But again, you have to separate yourself from everybody else. It's a commoditized business. You might be asking yourself, what's the concern with this? Well, it's your client's view of you. The clients really don't see any differentiation. They don't see any depth. They don't see you as the one leading the relationship. And so why does this happen? The client gets the menu. And the client hears from you around the promise of delivering all this variety, but would they end up with the same dish on the menu on repeat? And what does this do to you? The client experience, it feels small, no matter how big the promises you made sounded. And their needs as service in the conversation, you say you're going to help them with this. But over time, they never actually get solved. All their planning gaps, they stay open. And the client starts wondering if you ever see them. And eventually, they see through this. And when they do, it's not just the firm they're going to walk away from. It's going to be you. So what does this mean? Yes, you can win the investment business off the menu to start, and many advisors do. But over time, clients notice the other services they were promised never actually get delivered. And over time, when those services never get delivered at the level they're expected, the cracks start to show. The trust with you starts to erode. And the very one thing that won you the client's business becomes the reason you lose them. Listen to this stat. Between 25 to 30% of all new high net worth client relationships are already planning to switch advisor. Not someday, right now. And over time, those who do stay, especially when their advisors decide to make a move, the split is brutal. Advisors who have not gone deeper with the menu only take about 40% of their clients with them. But the best advisors, the one that delivered on the menu, they keep closer to 90%. That's the line, 90 versus 40. Build something that lasts or spend your career replacing what you've lost. So why does this gap exist again? The 40% advisor lived on that one dish, investments. The client never got the depth they were promised, so they stay with the firm, hoping the next new advisor they get assigned will deliver. The 90% advisor, that's a totally different story. They brought the breadth with depth. They didn't just read the menu, they knew how to deliver it. And when they move, the client doesn't follow the firm, they follow them. So why don't firms stop pushing a menu they can't deliver? Because that menu protects the industry story, not the firms. At the industry level, They point to one number, 97%. That's the industry's client retention percentage. But here's the truth. That's not your number. And it doesn't mean that clients are staying with your firm. It just means they're staying somewhere in the industry. They may leave your book, but the industry still claims to win. And the fallout, that lands on you in your book and in your career. And I've seen it. Early on in my career as a top advisor, I saw how easy it was to fall into the menu trap. Advisors leading on the firm's playbook, hiding behind what they didn't know, but I had to make a different choice. I built a process that let me elevate client impact without losing credibility, even in areas where I didn't have enough depth or experience. I knew how to integrate others with more expertise, not as a weakness, but as a way to expand the value for my clients. And that shift took me from being a good advisor to being a great advisor. Later, when I was asked to rebuild underperforming markets as a leader, I saw the same problems play out again. Same playbook, same menu, same gaps. So I built the think tank model to every team I led. It gave advisors a structure, a way to collaborate and integrate with clients, even if they did not have all the skills or experiences in each of the areas of the menu. And this process created real differentiation for them in the field. And that same process I built back then is the one that would help you rise above the menu trap versus staying stuck and getting impacted by it. So how do you build it? Here's how you move past the menu and actually build a working model. First, you have to frame the structure with your clients. Don't try to be the expert for the client in every lane, especially if you know enough to be dangerous, but not enough to execute. Second, position your think tank as a framework behind you. Clients should not expect you to know every technical detail, but they do expect you to know how to bring the right expertise together when called for. Third, the client will need to realize that you need to collect sharper intel. You must alert the client that information you'll be collecting will be brought back to your think tank. Again, you're not fishing for sound bites here. You're collecting intelligence that signals what to assess, what to analyze, and which think tank member will be needed. This alone will separate you from other advisors who keep conversations surface level. And lastly, integrate, don't outsource. When you bring in your think tank members with the client, internal or externally, make it feel to your client like it's an extension of your process, not a handoff. You need to be the one leading this integration and coordination advice and next steps. The client should see continuity, not a reset. That's the difference between leading the relationship and just being the middleman. And this is the way to provide a differentiation that clients are hoping for. So what are the benefits to you and what it creates over time? One, the client impact will increase and they'll stay. You're not just checking boxes, you're delivering outcomes that actually move the needle. That's what clients remember and that's what they follow. Your credibility will grow. You'll stop sounding like every other advisor on the street and leaning on the full service talk. Instead, you become the one who can orchestrate the process, not just point to the menu. Your range, career, and durability, every cycle expands your game. You'll build muscle outside of investments so you're not trapped in one lane or one firm's pitch book. And finally, control of your retention. Clients stop staying because of the firm and start staying because of you. That's the 90% retention line, the one that follows you everywhere. Listen, you'll never control what new menu the firm decides to roll out, or whether those items can actually be supported at the level the client deserves. But you can't control what you deliver. You can control the structure, the process, and the experience that separates you from everyone else reading the same menu. Because at the end of the day, clients don't stay for the line of options. They stay for the one person who can actually deliver the meal. Clients don't follow menus, they follow mastery. And if you can deliver, they'll follow you anywhere. Every week, I'll dive deeper into the critical moves that help leaders and advisors break through plateaus and lead at the levels they're built for. We cut through the fluff, no hype, no theory, just strategy, psychology, and execution. If this message hits home, make sure you're subscribed and following along. You're in the right place, whether you're leading teams, running a book, or scaling a firm. This is EliteVate. Let's cut through the noise and build something that actually lasts.